Welcome to the My Citizen Agency channel. Today we will talk about something that raises many questions and interests: citizenship through repatriation. We will take a detailed look at what this path entails, who it is suitable for, what advantages it offers, and why repatriation is becoming the most reliable and fastest way for many people to obtain a European passport. The word repatriation means returning to one's historical homeland. This concept is deeper than simply filling out paperwork or obtaining a new passport. It is linked to the idea of restoring justice and recognizing that a person has a natural right to belong to the nation of his or her ancestors. Many European countries have legislated the possibility for descendants of their citizens to restore the citizenship of their ancestors. This is due to historical circumstances, changes in state borders, migrations, wars, and political events of the past century, which left millions of people outside their homeland. Repatriation is not just a legal procedure. In essence, the state is saying to you, you have the right to be part of our nation because your roots are here. We recognize you as one of our own. This approach emphasizes that citizenship through repatriation is not a privilege, but a restoration of a historical connection that has always existed but was simply lost formally. That is why the laws in this area are more flexible and allow for different types of proof of origin to be taken into account. Descendants of citizens of a specific country. If your grandparents or great-grandparents were citizens of Slovenia, Bulgaria, Poland, Romania, Hungary, or another country where repatriation laws are in force, you have the right to restore this status. It is important to understand that a flawless chain of documents is not always required. The laws take into account historical realities, frequent border changes, loss of archives, and political upheavals of the past. This means that even if your ancestors lived in a territory that once belonged to a particular state, this may already be grounds for filing an application. Those who have preserved their ancestors' documents, birth certificates, old passports, church records, military IDs, or even circumstantial evidence can all play a key role. Even if you only have some of the documents, they can be a starting point for archiving and further research. In our practice, we often encounter situations where a small document paved the way for a whole family to obtain passports, those who are ready to confirm the nationality of their ancestors. In a number of countries, it is not only the fact of residence in the territory that is important, but also ethnic affiliation. If your ancestors were ethnic Hungarians, Bulgarians, or Poles, this can simplify and speed up the process. Confirmation of nationality is often based on documents or records in metric books, so even such seemingly insignificant evidence can play a decisive role. Those who value reliability and stability. Repatriation is not a temporary residence permit that needs to be renewed, nor is it a visa with a limited validity period. It is full citizenship, which is officially transferred to your children and grandchildren. Thus, once you have gone through the procedure, you create a solid foundation for your entire family, from the opportunity to live and work freely in Europe to confidence in the future. Speed. Unlike standard naturalization, which requires years of residence in the country, confirmation of language proficiency, passing exams, and adapting to a new environment, the repatriation process takes from several months to a couple of years. For many, this is a real chance to obtain full citizenship in the near future, rather than waiting for decades. Legality and transparency. You are not asking the state for anything extraordinary. You are simply restoring your historical right. The law explicitly provides for this possibility, which means that the process is completely legal and protected. These are not workarounds or options through intermediaries, but an official procedure that the state itself is ready to support. Inheritance. The most valuable thing is that the citizenship you obtain through repatriation becomes inheritable. Your children and grandchildren will be able to freely enjoy all the opportunities, even if they have never gone through the procedure themselves. In essence, you are opening up access to better education, healthcare, job prospects, and life in a stable environment for future generations. access to Europe. If we are talking about a member state of the European Union, along with your passport, you automatically receive all the privileges of an EU citizen: free movement within the Schengen area without visas, the right to work legally anywhere in Europe, the ability to start a business without additional restrictions, the ability to purchase real estate on an equal footing with citizens of the country, access to benefits and social guarantees. In fact, with a European passport in your hands, you have the key to the entire European Union, which opens up dozens of new opportunities for you. One of the most common questions we hear is, do I need to pass difficult language exams? Many repatriation programs do not require you to be fluent in the language. Basic knowledge is sufficient to show respect for the culture and confirm your connection to your historical homeland. This may be a simple interview or a basic test, knowledge of a few phrases, understanding of basic concepts, and sometimes there are no exams at all. The state understands that several generations have passed, and it would be unfair to expect descendants to speak the language of their ancestors fluently. Thus, repatriation differs significantly from ordinary naturalization, where serious preparation for exams is essential. Here, the emphasis is not on how well you know the language today, but on the fact that you have the right to restore your citizenship by origin. Many European countries understand the value of maintaining ties with the descendants of their citizens. Therefore, repatriation laws are in force in different countries, each of which has its own historical reasons and procedural features. Below are the most striking examples. Poland. Polish law allows you to confirm your origin through your parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. If your ancestors were Polish or lived in territories that were previously part of Poland, this gives you a real basis for applying. A distinctive feature of Poland is that various documents are accepted to confirm origin: metrics, birth certificates, church records, and military IDs. Even if some of the archives have been lost, indirect evidence can be used. In addition, knowledge of the Polish language and culture will always be an advantage. This is not a strict requirement, but in the future it will help you integrate into society more quickly and take advantage of all the opportunities the country has to offer. Romania is one of the most popular options for repatriation. The law gives the right to restore citizenship to descendants of Romanians who lived in territories that historically belonged to Romania, but were later transferred to other states. This is relevant for a large number of families whose ancestors lived, for example, in Bessarabia or northern Bukovina. The advantage of the program is its openness. Romanian citizenship is recognized worldwide, and along with your passport, you also receive all the rights of a European Union citizen. This includes free movement, work, business, and education in any European Union country. Hungary is particularly careful with its compatriots. If you can prove your Hungarian roots, you have the opportunity to restore your citizenship. A separate issue is language. The Hungarian state expects applicants to demonstrate at least a basic knowledge of Hungarian. This is not a university-level exam, but rather a simple conversation that confirms that you have a connection to the culture and respect for the traditions of your ancestors. Many clients perceive this not as an obligation, but as a pleasant incentive to learn a few phrases, get acquainted with the national cuisine or history. Bulgaria offers a simplified path for those who can prove their Bulgarian ancestry. The program has been in place for quite some time, and the state actively supports descendants of Bulgarians living outside the country. The deadlines and requirements here are more lenient than for regular naturalization. For many, this is a chance to obtain European citizenship fairly quickly and open up the opportunities of the European Union. Slovenia, a small but dynamically developing country in Central Europe, also grants the right to restore citizenship to descendants of Slovenians. Many Slovenians emigrated to other countries in the past for economic or political reasons, and today their descendants can exercise their right to return to their roots. The law takes into account past migration processes, so even if several generations have passed, the connection with the homeland can be restored. Slovenian citizenship not only gives you freedom of movement within the EU, but also access to high standards of living, education, and healthcare in one of the most environmentally friendly countries in Europe. Although the conditions and nuances differ from country to country, the idea itself remains the same. If you have proof of your origin or ethnicity, the state is ready to recognize you as its citizen. And this is not a gift or a privilege, but a restoration of justice. Your ancestors were part of this nation, and you have the right to officially return to these roots. Families who want to give their children a European education without huge costs. For parents, this is one of the main motivations. European citizenship opens up access to universities and schools on the same terms as for local residents. This means not only lower tuition fees, but also more scholarships, grants, and opportunities for academic mobility. Children are free to choose where to study and build their careers, from Paris to Berlin. Entrepreneurs seeking to start a business in Europe and simplify taxation. For business people, repatriation is a tool for scaling up. Citizenship allows you to do business without restrictions, open companies in any EU country, participate in tenders, and take advantage of favorable tax regimes. This is especially important for those who plan to work with European partners or enter the international market. People who dream of freedom of movement, from visa-free travel to the opportunity to live in different countries. With an EU passport, you can visit dozens of countries around the world without a visa, including the US, Canada, Japan, Australia, and other developed countries. But the main thing is freedom of choice. You can live and work not in one specific country, but where you feel comfortable. Today it may be Spain, tomorrow Germany, and in a couple of years Portugal. Those who value stability and want to secure a fallback option for themselves and their descendants. For many, repatriation is not only about new opportunities, but also about peace of mind. Having a second passport gives you confidence in the future, the opportunity to move to a country with a high standard of living at any time, protect your family, and ensure a secure future for your children and grandchildren. Don't rush to think that this closes the door. The lack of certificates or passports of ancestors is a very common situation. In the 20th century, people often changed their place of residence, states changed their borders, and archives could be lost due to wars and political events. Therefore, not every family keeps a complete set of documents. The good news is that this is not a death sentence. My Citizen Agency helps to restore lost records in archives, contact state and municipal authorities, and work with church records and other sources of information. Sometimes, a single clue is enough to start the search process. Very often, even clients who were sure that there is nothing end up finding a solid basis for applying for citizenship. For example, an old marriage certificate or a record in a metric book can be the key that opens the way for the whole family. We know how to search and where to search. Therefore, even if you do not yet have any documents, the chances of restoring your right to citizenship are still high. The initial consultation is where it all begins. We carefully analyze your specific situation. We evaluate the documents that have been preserved, listen to your family history, and clarify the details of your origins. At this stage, we can already give you a preliminary assessment of your chances and outline possible paths forward. This gives you an opportunity to understand how realistic it is to restore your citizenship and what steps lie ahead. Preparation and search for evidence is one of the most important stages. Our specialists work with archives, request copies of records, and search for birth certificates, marriage records, and military service records. If necessary, we conduct research in foreign archives. At the same time, we translate documents, have them notarized, and prepare a complete package for submission. All this saves you from having to delve into the nuances and bureaucracy yourself. Submission of documents. The company's lawyers organize the process so that you feel supported every step of the way, from registration with government agencies to personal attendance, if required. My Citizen Agency lawyers accompany you to the authorities, explain the procedure, and ensure that everything goes as smoothly as possible. And the final stage is the most enjoyable, obtaining citizenship. After completing all the formalities, you receive an official passport of the country, recognized worldwide. This is not a temporary status, but full citizenship, which gives you all the rights and opportunities. We work only according to official laws. It is important for us that each stage is completely transparent and legally flawless. We do not offer risky paths. Everything is based on the laws of the country to which you want to return. We have our own archivists and lawyers in different countries. This means that we do not rely on random intermediaries. My Citizen Agency specialists know where to find documents, how to communicate with government agencies, and how to properly arrange translations and certifications. This speeds up the process and increases the chances of success. We take care of the entire process. From the first consultation to receiving your passport, My Citizen Agency accompanies you every step of the way. You don't need to understand complex legal terms, spend time searching for archives, or worry that something will be done incorrectly. We do all of this for you. Most importantly, we are always honest about your chances and do not promise the impossible. We understand that this is about your future and the future of your family. That is why we always give an honest assessment of the situation at the outset. If you have a real chance, we take on the case. If not, we explain why. For us, the trust of our clients is more important than empty promises. Citizenship through repatriation is not just a legal opportunity. It is a real chance to reconnect with your historical homeland, open new horizons for yourself and your family, and ensure a future without borders for your children and grandchildren. You have learned who this path is suitable for, which countries offer the opportunity to restore citizenship, what its advantages are, and why more and more people are choosing repatriation. If you have European roots, don't put off your decision. They may be the key to your second passport and new opportunities. My Citizen Agency is ready to accompany you on this journey from the first consultation to obtaining the coveted document. We will take care of all the complexities, from searching for archival data to submitting documents and accompanying you to government agencies. If you want to find out if you have a chance to obtain citizenship, leave a request for a free consultation at the link in the description. We will study your situation, draw up your personal immigration plan, and prepare a complete set of documents for successfully obtaining citizenship in one of the European Union countries. Thank you for watching this video. If you are interested in this topic, subscribe to the channel and feel free to ask questions in the comments. We regularly publish program reviews, answer frequently asked questions, and share important news about immigration law and life in the EU. Your journey to Europe begins with the first step. My Citizen Agency is there for you every step of the way.